Hey guys, well, here's the next segment of my little how-to. Carburetor. It's a nitro carburetor for a GXR 15 engine. This is it. That came in my Kyosho FW05T. I just pulled it off to check it, clean it, check the jets. If you know cars, you'll know that this is quite similar to a car. The only difference is, or a few differences, the size, the way everything is ported, and the fact that this has no bowl or float to control the fuel going in. The only control is basically the actual needles inside. I'll hold this up to the light so you can see. The inside is still a little bit dirty, but you see that little pin there that's sticking out. That's the low speed. As you adjust it, it moves in or out, and depending how far you accelerate, you'll be opening just that one little pin for a little while. Once you get to about mid-range in this one, it opens up fully, and your high-speed needle is what takes over the rest of the control. So you have the low speed and the high speed. This is the low speed side right here, and you have your high speed needle. This little blue cover I have on is just covering the nipple that goes to the intake. Here's the throttle return spring. This is a slide carb, like I said before, so it slides open, slides closed. You have your idle adjust screw, and then this is what the actual intake looks like on the motor. Still hard to see, but down there is sort of a rotating valve, and depending what cycle it's in, it's open or closed, sucking in fuel or burning and then firing out. The carburetor just sits like that in the engine. So next part of your fuel system, which actually should be the first part, is the fuel tank. This fuel tank has a primer in it, but I've had to pop it up because the seal has gone on it and it wasn't allowing fuel to pass by. The bottom of the tank is your outfeed that goes to the motor. I have installed an aftermarket filter on it, which I have cleaned twice now and found quite a bit grit inside it, which could have clogged. And then from here, this blue pipe would go to the intake nozzle. Now on top of the tank you have your filler, and you also have your pressurize. This nipple goes down to an old fuel filter, which is empty right now. I took out the filter. It's just meant to cool down the gases going into the fuel and help. Then you have your exhaust, which causes just a bit of back pressure in the back. That causes one, fuel to not to burn a little bit better and not just be forced out the exhaust, and two, that back pressure gets pushed into the tank to keep a constant pressure on the fuel tank and the fuel going into the carburetor. That's why it's really critical to adjust everything right, and why certain aftermarket pipes, which this isn't, this is a general pipe that came with it. Here's the 2-speed gears that I didn't show in the clutch. That's the other part of the system. With a one-way, as this speeds up, there's a clutch on this second gear that spins freely. When that expands out, the gear ratio changes and this one gets engaged. So at second speed you'll hear the engine rev down and start revving back up. You have your brakes, you have your servo controls. I'll show you the suspension and differentials in the next videos if I get them done in the next few days. Mine is a 4-wheel drive, shaft-driven vehicle with direct drive gears. Anyways guys, if you have any questions about this, let me know and have a good day. Bye, tubers.